Welcome to Michigan Out of Doors. I'm Jenny Olson, and we've got an exciting show for you this week. Winter finally decided to arrive here in the southern part of the state, and this week I'll be taking you ice fishing on Lake St. Clair area's first ice. It's an exciting time. You won't want to miss that. And Jimmy and the guys have some other adventures for us this week too.
Well, that's right, Jenny. We're actually going to kick off this week's show by following our own Gabe Van Warmer as he follows a hunter during the archery season and then the firearm opener in the club country part of our state, kind of in the northeast part of the Lower Peninsula. You won't want to miss that. Then we're going to tag along with Jordan Brown as he goes to the Demer Archery Range, which is just off Michigan State's campus, and learns a little bit more about a new archery magazine geared at kids and really about just getting kids into archery in general. Lots of good stuff on this week's show. You stay tuned. I'm Jimmy Gretzinger, and it's time for Michigan Out of Doors.
From the first spring rains to the soft summer breeze, dancing on the pine forest floor, the autumn colors catch your eyes. Here come the crystal winter skies. It's Michigan, Michigan out of doors. Someday our children all will see this is their finest legacy, the wonder and the love of Michigan. As the wind comes whispering through the trees, the sweet smell of nature's in the air. From the Great Lakes to the quiet stream, shining like a sportsman's dream, it's the love of Michigan we all share.
Michigan Out of Doors is presented by Country Smokehouse, offering a variety of meat products. Country Smokehouse is located 3 miles south of I-69 on M53, just south of Imlay City. Country Smokehouse is a meat processor, a butcher, and a destination for sportsmen. By Eagle Claw Chappelle, offering a line of pop-up and flip-over shelters and the new cabin-style Bay Runner 2. Chappelle also offers a selection of sleds, including the new winter camo pattern jet sled. Eagle Claw Chappelle, we have you covered. On the web at chappelle.com. By Greenstone Farm Credit Services, making recreational land ownership possible across Michigan and northeast Wisconsin. Begin your land financing journey at one of Greenstone's 37 locations or visit greenstonefcs.com. By Vanguard, a global manufacturer based in Michigan featuring rifle scopes, binoculars, and spotting scopes with lifetime warranties. Vanguard supplies sporting optics and accessories for the outdoor enthusiast, online at vanguardworld.com.
For years, I've traveled the state, and whenever I make that turn onto M65, I know that I'm headed for a beautiful part of the state. Birch trees and ferns dominate the flora, and soon you'll be seeing something else. There are hunt club signs, and lots of them. Some are a few guys that got together and bought some land. Others are bigger tracts with memberships. Collectively, they are referred to as club country. For years, I've wondered what these hunting destinations are like. This year, I had an invitation from Todd Riley, whose family owns a club, to come see what club country is all about. The Beaver Lake Hunt Club has been in existence for almost a century and has a storied past.
For years, a guy by the name of Harry Guston, who built it for hunting, and they had hunts. People came up here by rail car, by railroad, by steam, because there's no I-75 at the time. And they had like a day trip in from Alpena with horse and buggy, and then later on by car. And they were adventurous, hardy souls that came and hunted in that time frame.
The club sits at the south end of Beaver Lake and has the perfect mixture of hardwood ridges, pine stands, and cedar swamps. Beaver Creek runs down the middle of the club, dividing it almost in half. With a swamp down the middle and food plots on either side, the club is set up well for hunting.
Well, there's 3,000 acres here, and we joined the Turtle Lake Club to one side, and we've got hunters come from all over the country here to stay with us, and some of the bigger bucks that have been shot in this county come right off this property. The deer population is, I would say, it's under control. Years ago, there were so many deer here that they were starving to death, and now we've got it down to where there's a good buck-doe ratio. And opening day, everybody usually sees some bucks running around, but anymore we wait for the bigger ones.
All right, we're up here in northeast Michigan in club country. We're on a club called Beaver Lake Hunting Club. Bow hunting tonight. We got acorns all around us. Got a northwest wind. All the deer are coming from over here in the southeast. Mainly the east, but we're safe on this south edge of the field. They just kind of trickle through. No specific trails, feeding on acorns, coming to the green. last week. Hunted this spot one night, saw around 10 bucks. A lot of early pre-rut activity. They're starting to get irritated with each other, rubbing trees, sparring. Young bucks. So maybe might have something better moving this week. We'll see.
As I got to know Vance this fall while hunting, he has a lifelong understanding of the area. He grew up in club country and now works with many of the clubs providing seed for their food plots.
Like you said, I grew up here. This will be my 23rd rifle season. The clubs are a big tradition. It's a special time of year up here. The deer numbers have changed over the year. We had a massive population through the 90s. In the late 90s when the TB was found, people started shooting does a lot heavier. We knocked the population way down for quite a few years. And then people got into managing, doing food plots, and the population is starting to come back up. There's a better quality of buck in the area these days. Basically, there's many different sizes. There's your 20-acre hunting camps, small family camps, 80 acres, or like Beaver Lake here is multiple thousands of acres, and the neighbors are tens of thousands of acres. So we're east of M65, west of M33. So everything in between is all traditional rifle season hunting camps, all the way down to 72 on the south end. So it varies from few acres to thousands of acres. I just grew up 5 miles from here, so I'm familiar with the area. I like the type of terrain here. I like the woods. It's oak ridges, cedar swamps. I'm just used to it. That's why I like it here, basically. And I've hunted in this area forever, so.
Growing up in southern Michigan and only hunting public land in the northern lower, I was amazed at what I was seeing. Vance told me that on a typical night of hunting on club property, he would see 10 to 12 bucks and usually would get a look at a mature buck. This night was no exception. After seeing many little bucks, we saw this bruiser coming into the food plot. This was obviously a mature buck, but with so many deer in the food plot, it was going to be tough to get a shot with the bow. With 7 bucks and many does on the food plot, the buck just fed across the plot, well out of bow range. With only one night to sit, I looked forward to coming back up and experiencing the gun opener at the club. The evening of November 14th found the lodge full of excited hunters. Anticipation was high, and hunters put a mark on the property map showing where they would be hunting the next morning. This is a traditional type of camp that I love visiting. Card games were going, stories were being told of past hunts, and a big meal was being prepared for all. This scene had been repeated in this club for almost 100 years. Thinking about all the hunters that have come through this lodge over the years and spent this night dreaming of big bucks had me excited about opening day. The opener dawned clear and unfortunately warm. We would be hunting between 2 fingers of swamp in a small opening that had seen lots of movement the last few weeks. The weather, on the other hand, wasn't helping much at all, but the deer were moving nonetheless. Vance had several mature bucks on trail camera throughout the fall, and he would be looking for one of them to wander past us this opener. After seeing many bucks in the morning, we decided to move up into the oaks where the deer had been feeding recently. Although we saw more deer and a couple of bucks, Vance didn't see the buck that he was looking for. Back at the lodge, everyone had seen deer and a couple nice ones were hanging on the pole. Randy Evans was one of the lucky hunters.
Well, usually the rut doesn't hit right on the day first day of hunting, but there were all these like 6 doe coming in running, and he was about 10 minutes behind. I shot him with a 7mm with a 150 grain cartridge, and it went right through there, so it was pretty exciting.
Dan Breeding had also connected on this long beam 7-point. The weather had hampered the opening day hunting, but almost everyone in camp saw multiple bucks. All in all, it was a good day in the Northwoods. Although the big buck hadn't cooperated for the camera, you can't complain when you see 10 to 12 bucks in a day of hunting. Special thanks to Todd for inviting me up to Beaver Lake to see what club country is all about. Never will I travel on M65 again and wonder if there is really good hunting up in club country.
For those of us who love to ice fish, it's been a pretty frustrating winter so far here in Michigan, but we finally got some safe ice to hit the hard water on. In this next story, we're going to show you how that looks.
For ice anglers across the Lower Peninsula, conditions have been less than desirable this winter, to say the least. December was hit and miss with cold weather and ended with temps in the 40s and 50s. But as the calendar rolled into January, things finally started to look promising for some fishable ice. I put in a call to our friends at Sportsman's Direct Bait Shop in Harrison Township near Lake St. Clair to find out if anyone was on the ice yet and if they were having any luck. Justin Clark had some good news.
You know, I got the phone call from you about 2-3 days ago. We were just making ice. We weren't sure if we're gonna have good ice for you for your shoot, but we knew a couple areas that always is the first place that gets it, and sounds like you were able to get out in some pretty safe ice for early ice. And this is the first major day that the word's gotten out. 2 days ago there was like 1 or 2 places, but those guys were tight-lipped on it. And then yesterday there was a few guys that were brave enough to go and check a few places and start hunting things out. But last night we froze a little more, and some more of the more common first ice areas are good to go, which I know you got to experience a little bit of that today. So
Justin put me in touch with a couple of guys who are fanatical about ice fishing. I met up with Trevor Larson and Mike Martin in New Baltimore. They would be fishing a canal off of Anchor Bay on the north side of Lake St. Clair this morning.
Well, first ice pan fishing out here, Lake St. Clair Canal. First ice, fish have been a little tight-lipped lately. We scouted out a little bit. Yesterday we got out here for the first time. Ice was a little thin, about 2.5 inches. Water was cloudy and the fish were tight-lipped, but we're gonna give them a shot today. We might bounce around the bay a little bit. We got a couple canals, might hit the raft.
All right, tell me where we are, not being too specific, but what part of the lake are you off of here?
A canal off Anchor Bay, New Baltimore area.
All right. So Trevor, no electronics for you guys, eh?
I'm more of an old school ice fisherman. I like going straight down vertical. I'm not much of a bobber guy either. I just like the vertical fishing with small tungsten jigs, grubs, spikes, wax worms. If they're being picky, I'll switch over to plastics.
How many feet are we fishing in right now?
About 5.5. I'm trying to work the column, starting off at the bottom, jigging up, let it sit. Raise it up a little bit, try to get the gills to chase it. And as soon as I get to the top, I'll hold it, drop it back down for the crappies. Crappies usually seem to hit on the fall and the gills will chase it up.
Mike hooked into the first fish of the day, but things were starting out pretty slow here on the canal behind Trevor's family's house. The guys managed to pull just a few fish through the ice here, but they were small and the action was slow. It was a beautiful morning with an incredible view of ducks cruising by out on the lake. But we weren't after ducks today, so the guys decided to pack it up and head east to fish a canal off of Bouvier Bay. The parking lot next to the Raft restaurant is a popular place for ice anglers to access the lake here and a great place to see how everyone else is doing. Some fishermen had already caught enough for the frying pan and were headed home with a nice catch of crappies and gills. Trevor and Mike were itching to get out there and get on the fish too. These guys are truly hooked on ice fishing and are well known in this area. Trevor is a member of an online community called Ice Junkies Outdoors, where thousands of ice anglers connect and share info and techniques. And Mike has a Facebook page called Mike Martin Outdoors, where he posts videos, tips, tactics, and blogs about fishing. We made our way to the canal here by the Bouvier Bay Bridge. We were into the fish right away. Hey, Mike. Got one. You've only been here a few minutes, eh?
Little paper mouth.
Cool. All right. So these little canals are probably pretty popular this time of year, hey?
Oh yeah, everybody's so desperate to get on some ice early, and as soon as they see one guy, the masses start following.
So what do you guys usually find in here?
Mostly bluegills and crappies. Once in a while you get into some perch, but for the most part it's a bluegill crappie canal.
Now, is it just the first ice, or is it usually because the first ice is typically at a certain time of year?
It could be a multitude of different things. Usually what the ice does, it pulls the fish in off the lake. Gives them almost like a shelter. They come in, they hide underneath the ice. And as long as there's not many people on them, they'll sit there forever. But a popular spot like this, once there's good enough ice that everybody starts coming out, between catching a majority of the fish and spooking the crap out of them, they just shuts it right down. Usually get about 2 or 3 weeks out of it, and then it's over.
Oh my word! We just watched you wrestle that in from down there. What's your name?
Don Uplager.
Don?
Yeah.
Very cool. Congratulations.
Thank
That's a beautiful crappie.
Yeah.
Good deal. Everyone seemed to be enjoying the first real opportunity to get out on the ice this season. Justin says it's been a crazy winter so far.
Yeah, a few weeks back, everybody was trolling what walleye in Saginaw Bay, and down in Lake Erie, we're selling husky jerks and perfect 10s and bandit walleyes as fast as we could get them in. And then all of a sudden, it got cold. And now everyone's like, I can't fish from boat, and everybody's chomping a bit to get on the ice, and we're finally at that point. So
the canals here hold lots of bluegills and crappie and a few perch. Once the lake freezes, anglers will be out in full force to chase after those Lake St. Clair perch. There's been a concern the last few years about a dwindling perch population here, but Justin says things are turning around.
Well, the numbers are not an issue. It's definitely more of the size. According to the DNR, we had a little bit of a couple year classes where there wasn't a lot of food for them. It could be the year we didn't have ice. We had a little gap in there in the year class possibly. But what we're seeing right now is a lot of 8-inch fish, some 9-inchers showing up, a boatload of 7s. So going into this winter and going into the next fall, we should be back to where St. Clair is always known for, just tons of nice eater perch for guys, and the jumbos are still here. You got to hunt a little bit harder, but they're always here in this lake.
Lake St. Clair and its bays and canals never seem to disappoint. Those of us who live in the southeast part of the state are lucky to have this world-class fishery right here in our backyards. With any luck, temps will continue to stay low and produce even more ice out here for a safe, prosperous new year in Michigan's Out of Doors.
Well, we wrap up this week's show at the Denver facility in East Lansing, where I was able to highlight a group and a new magazine going above and beyond to get more kids involved in the world of archery.
We're a shooting sports and education center here at Michigan State University called the Demmer Center. Mr. Demmer actually donated a large portion of the money to build this facility. We needed a shooting sports and education center, so we were promoting actually Olympic style archery, or any style of archery, and rifle and pistol. Well, we basically have an indoor shooting season and an outdoor shooting season. We've been here at Michigan State for 6 years. We currently have about 150 kids in the Junior Olympic Archery Development Program. We also have the MSU Archery team here and the MSU Rifle and Pistol team that are actually housed here at Michigan State.
Also on hand today was the owner of a new magazine created for young archers, containing information and stories from archers around the world. with proceeds being used to get more kids into the sport.
Well, we started the Young Archer magazine last year. We attended a NAPS event down in Louisville, Kentucky. We noticed a lot of the kids were too young to be online, so we decided to start a print magazine. It's all about promoting archery and kids in archery, written by kids for kids kind of deal. We get stories from around the world right now. Kids from Europe send us in stories. We're getting a lot of stories from the USA archery team members, a lot of stories from NAPS kids in the National Archery in the Schools program. It's just a great thing, you know. It's about promoting archery and promoting kids. You know, we try to raise money to help start events for other kids. It's turned out to be a wonderful thing. You know, we're very blessed to be able to do what we do.
One positive aspect of archery that is often overlooked is that anyone can participate, giving those who maybe can't play other sports or don't want to the opportunity to compete and still be on a team.
What we're seeing with the different kids we've talked with is, you know, you get kids focused. They want to get involved in stuff. We see a lot of kids that otherwise not real athletic that find archery is a wonderful thing. It's in anybody's sport. We've got kids 5, 6, 7 years old all over the world right now shooting that never were in any types of groups at all. They were kind of the outcast at school. We have several kids that are handicapped that we see shooting around the different events we go to that otherwise had no sport, no activity with other children, no interaction with other kids. Now they become a team. I mean, you come to an event like this and they're all on the same team. They could be shooting against each other, but they're all part as a unit, it seems. It's just beneficial to all the kids. It's just a tremendous thing to get, whether it's hunting or, you know, competition stories. You know, they're all wonderful stories. And we're honored to be able to do this for the kids. You know, that's one of the best parts about it. Is we can raise some money to help support the kids, start new programs in other schools.
Whether it's indoor or outdoor, target practice or time spent in the tree stand, getting kids involved in archery is a great way to get them started in the outdoors and to help promote a healthy lifestyle.
We want to emphasize a healthy lifestyle for kids, getting them in the outdoors because we do have an outdoor season. And we also want to make sure that they're living a healthy lifestyle. Again, we start shooting, having kids shooting the same systems that they shoot at the Olympic Training Center. So I go there 2 to 3 times a year to make sure that we're bringing back all the latest and greatest information. You know, we realize that a lot of these kids, you know, are not going to be Olympians, which is fine, but we still want them to make sure that they get outside, have a healthy lifestyle, and enjoy the outdoors.
There were plenty of bullseyes and even a few misses today, but more importantly, there were kids shooting, which is good for the future of archery here in Michigan. Special thanks to the parents, coaches, and everyone else involved for doing their part to get more kids involved in the outdoors.
Thanks for joining us this week for Michigan Out of Doors. Make sure you check us out online when you get a chance. You can do it a couple of different ways. You can visit us on our website at MichiganOutofDoorsTV.com. All sorts of fun facts about the show there, as well as episodes of the show. You can watch this week's show or older shows there if you'd like. Or you can check us out on our Facebook page at Michigan Out of Doors TV. We have a lot of fun stuff coming up for you this winter.
Well, lots of good stuff coming over the next several weeks. It's hard to believe, but next month it's going to be Outdoorama, where we have Big Buck Night East, and then in March we have Big Buck Night West at the Ultimate Sports Show in Grand Rapids. So if you shot a big buck or if you know someone that did, go ahead and get that deer scored by Commemorative Bucks of Michigan, and they'll get those scores to us. Now, we do want to say a special thank you to our most unique deer blind contest winner. The big winner this year was Kirk Geldersma of Belding, Michigan. This is a log cabin-style blind that he built on his own. Now, he actually said that he got his girlfriend to help him make the blind because she wanted a nicer place to sit in the woods, and wouldn't you know, they are now engaged. So congratulations to Kirk on not only winning our contest, but also on the engagement. And our friends over at Greenstone Farm Credit were involved in that contest and have a really nice prize package for Kirk. Congratulations, and thanks to everybody that sent in their pictures of their most unique deer blind contest. Hey, if we don't see you in the woods or on the water, hopefully we'll see you right back here next week on your PBS station.
Michigan Out of Doors is presented by the Michigan chapters of Safari Club International. For over 40 years, SCI has been protecting hunters' rights and promoting wildlife conservation here in Michigan and around the world. SCI chapter locations can be found on the web at firstformichigan.org. By Showspan, producing consumer shows including Outdoorama February 26th through March 1st at Novi's Suburban Showplace. The show features tackle, trips, boats, outfitters, wildlife encounters, and of course, Big Buck Night. That's Outdoorama in Novi, February 26th through March 1st. By Propane, Clean American Energy. Propane retailers promote the safe use of Michigan-produced gas energy in homes, farms, and businesses across our great state. Learn more at usemichiganpropane.com.
When I wander far away, a dream stays with me night and day. It's the road that leads to my home state. I am a Michigan man. Changing seasons paint the scene like rainbow trout in a hidden stream. The white-tailed deer in the tall pine trees. I am a Michigan man. I am a Michigan man. Ask where I'm from and I'll show you my